Good morning, everybody. So today's topic of discussion is pharmacokinetics, drug excretion. So we have already completed the other aspects of pharmacokinetics, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism. And now we are coming to the final phase of pharmacokinetics, that is the excretion of the drugs. So we shall be covering this topic under the following headings, that is renal excretion. We shall be looking into terms like clearance, plasma T-half, and finally kinetics of elimination. So these are the topics which are usually asked as short notes for your exam from this topic. So drug excretion is defined as the passage of systemically absorbed drug out of the body. So the different routes of drug excretion are urine, feces, exhaled gases, saliva and sweat, milk. So obviously, all of you know that urine or the kidney is the most common or most important route of drug excretion, and most of the drugs are excreted in urine. Feces also is another important route of drug administration, and erythromycin is an example of a drug which is excreted in the feces. And the lesser routes of drug excretion are exhaled gases, saliva and sweat, and milk. Since renal excretion is the principal form of drug excretion, we shall be looking into the renal excretion in detail. So the excretion of renal drugs by the renal route depends on the three steps, that is glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, and tubular secretion. So these are the figure which is showing filtration. So already you know filtration is occurring from the glomerular apparatus, juxtaglomerular apparatus, and then you can see the reabsorption occurring in the distal tubule, and secretion is mainly occurring in the proximal convoluted tubule. So filtration, only the free drug is getting filtered. The protein bound drug does not get filtered. That means only the drug which is available in the free form, that is not bound to the protein, gets filtered. Reabsorption is a passive process, and only lipid soluble forms are getting reabsorbed. So the reabsorption depends on the lipid solubility of the drug, and it is also determined by the pH configurations, which we'll be discussing in the coming up slides. Secretion, on the other hand, is an active process, and different acids and bases can be secreted into the renal tubule by specific transporters. So let us look at each of these steps in detail. So as I already told you, glomerular filtration, it occurs at the juxtaglomerular apparatus, and all the protein unbound drug is filtered at the glomerulus, and the ones which are bound to the proteins, they will never be filtered at the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Also, the renal blood flow will determine the glomerular filtration. So remember, the glomerular filtration of a drug will depend upon its protein binding as well as the renal blood flow. Coming to the tubular reabsorption, I already told you it is a passive process, and it depends mainly on the lipid solubility of the drug. The drugs which are lipid soluble, they can easily get reabsorbed from the renal tubule into the blood. The reabsorption of drugs also depends, as I already told you, on the pH of the urine. So the drugs which ionize in the renal tubules, they will not be reabsorbed, because in the previous class we already mentioned that the ions cannot be reabsorbed. So just remember this concept that weakly acidic drugs, they ionize more in the basic medium, and the weakly basic drugs ionize more in the acidic medium. So we can see that the acidic drugs, they get more ionized in alkaline urine. And when they are getting ionized, they will not be reabsorbed. Similarly, the basic drugs, they tend to get more ionized when you have an acidic urine, and they will not be getting reabsorbed in the acidic urine. So why does this concept, where does this concept come into play? So this concept is mainly applied when there is a toxicity or a poisoning of the drug. So if we want to eliminate a drug, what we can do, we can apply the principles of the pH consideration. So what we can do is that if we have a poisoning due to an acidic drug like a barbiturate or an aspirin, we can alkalinize the urine. And in the alkalinized urine, these drugs will get ionized and they will not be reabsorbed. In fact, they will be excreted out. Similarly, if we have a poisoning due to a basic drug like morphine, amphetamine, we can acidify the urine. So these drugs will get ionized in the acidic urine and they will be eliminated out of the kidney. They will not be reabsorbed. So the pH concentrations are mainly important for dealing with drug poisonings. Then we come to the tubular secretion. It is an active process and we have got different transporters which can secrete acidic and basic drugs into the proximal convoluted tubule. There are different drugs which can be secreted into the renal tubule, that is penicillin, cephalosporin, and probenecid. There are other drugs also, but for the time being, you can remember these examples as the drugs which are secreted into the renal tubule. So what is a net renal excretion of a drug by the kidney? It is equal to glomerular filtration plus the tubular secretion. These are the two processes which are actually putting the drugs into the renal tubule. That is glomerular filtration and tubular secretion minus tubular reabsorption. So the reabsorption is a process which is taking back the drug into the blood. So we have to subtract that. So net renal excretion is equal to glomerular filtration plus tubular secretion minus tubular reabsorption. Next, we come to the kinetics of elimination. So elimination, I have used the word excretion in the beginning. Now we are using the term elimination. So how is it different from excretion? So elimination is actually the sum total of biotransformation or metabolism and excretion. So it is metabolism you have already studied. So when we are saying elimination, we are including both the biotransformation and the excretion. So if I say that the phases of the pharmacokinetics is absorption, metabolism, and elimination, it means absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So we can either say the pharmacokinetics as the phases of pharmacokinetics as absorption, distribution, and elimination, or we can say absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. Then the rate and pattern of the elimination is studied by the kinetics of elimination. So kinetics of elimination is the branch which is studying the rate and pattern of the elimination of the drug. And the parameter which is giving us a measure of the drug elimination is called as clearance. So remember, this is a parameter which is telling us or which is giving us a quantitative measure of the drug elimination. So how do we define clearance? Clearance is defined as the volume of plasma from which the drug is completely removed in unit time. So you have to remember this definition very clearly. It is the volume of plasma from which the drug is completely removed in unit time. And so this parameter will be giving us a quantitative measure of the drug elimination. Now, the formula for the clearance is equal to rate of elimination divided by plasma concentration, and it is expressed as ml per minute. We can see one example. Here, the rate of elimination is 500 microgram per minute. The plasma concentration is 10 microgram per ml. So we calculate the clearance as the rate of elimination divided by plasma concentration, which is equal to 500 microgram per minute divided by 10 microgram per ml, which is equal to 50 ml per minute. This is the clearance for this particular drug. Now we come to a very important aspect that is called as the plasma half-life or T-half. It is also referred to as the elimination half-life. It is the time required to reduce the plasma concentration of a drug to half of its original value. In other words, it is a time in which the drug becomes half of its original concentration in the plasma. So this is a very, very important parameter. And what is the formula for that? T half is equal to 0.693 divided by K. That K is called as the elimination rate constant of the drug. And you can remember what is the elimination rate constant of this drug? It is the fraction of the total amount of the drug in the body removed in unit time. Now K is equal to otherwise clearance by volume of distribution. So we can even express T half in terms of volume of distribution and clearance, that is 0.693 into volume by clearance. Now, what is the importance of plasma T half? So plasma T half helps us to estimate the duration of action of a single dose. So we can know how long the action will be. So if we know the T half, we can know that the double the time will be required to completely finish off the action of that particular drug. It will also tell us the time which is taken to taken by the drug to reach steady state concentration. So what is the steady state concentration? We will be discussing in the next slide. So the plasma T half gives us an idea as to how much time will be required to for the drug to reach the steady state concentration. So usually any drug will require 4 to 5 T halves to reach the steady state concentration. This plasma T half also helps us to determine the dosing interval. That means how frequently we have to give. So you would be taking drugs, medicines which are taken at different times. So some drugs you can take at 4 hourly intervals, some you take at 6 hourly intervals, some you take at 8 hourly intervals. This is all based upon the T half. So depending upon the T half, the dosing interval of the drug is decided. Now we said that we have to discuss about the steady state concentration. So what is this steady state concentration? When we are continuously administering a drug, first the plasma concentration will rise, and then slowly it will reach a steady state concentration. So first it will rise, and simultaneously some metabolism and excretion also will be happening. So there will be a point when the rate of administration becomes same as the rate of elimination. And this is the time when we say that the steady state of plasma concentration is achieved by the drug. So steady state of concentration is a situation at which the rate of drug administration is equal to the rate of drug elimination, so that the amount of drug remains constant. So it is the time when the plasma level of the drug remains constant. The final one that we're going to deal with is the orders of elimination kinetics. This is also a very, very important aspect and often asked in your exams. So we have 3 orders of elimination kinetics. The first order kinetics, which is followed by majority of the drugs. Then we have got the 0 order kinetics, and then we have got the mixed order kinetics. So the first order kinetics, the characteristics of the first order kinetics are as follows. Here, the rate of elimination is directly proportional to the plasma concentration of the drug. So what happens here is that a constant fraction of the drug is eliminated in unit time. So the clearance is constant. You can see this example: 200 microgram, 100 microgram, 200 microgram becomes 100 microgram in 1 unit time. Then after that, the 100 microgram becomes 50 microgram in another unit time, and so on. So what is happening? 50% of the drug is eliminated in unit time. So it is the constant percentage of the drug which is eliminated in unit time. And this is called as the first order kinetics. And this is followed by majority of the drugs. Then we have got the 0 order kinetics of elimination. Here the rate of elimination remains constant irrespective of the drug concentration. Here you can see the rate of elimination is directly proportional to the plasma concentration. That means if the plasma concentration is increasing, the rate of elimination also will be increasing. But in the case of 0 order kinetics, the rate of elimination remains constant irrespective of the drug concentration. That means a constant amount of drug is eliminated in unit time, and the clearance will decrease with the increase in concentration. See, if you have a larger amount of drug, so what will happen? The clearance will be less, because irrespective of the concentration, only a certain amount of the drug will be eliminated. For example, alcohol. Example, 200 microgram, 150 microgram, 100 microgram, 50 microgram, etc. So 50 microgram of drug is eliminated in unit time. So you can see that 200 microgram becomes 150 microgram, and of these, again 50 is eliminated. So it becomes 100. If it was a previous one, we'll be having 50% eliminated. So it would have become 75. But here you can see then 100. Now then 50 of it is eliminated and become 50. So you can see only the constant amount of the drug is being eliminated. It's not a percentage, it's a constant amount which is being eliminated in unit time. Such kind of zero order kinetics is followed by alcohol. Then we have got the mixed order kinetics or the capacity limited or the Michaelis-Menten elimination. For some drugs, kinetics changes from first order to zero order with increasing concentration of the drug. That means at the lower concentration, these drugs will follow the first order kinetics of elimination. But as the concentration increases, the order of elimination kinetics changes to zero order kinetics. And this is mainly occurring because the elimination processes become saturated over the time. So what is the problem with such kind of a kinetics? Soon the plasma concentration will reach the toxic levels. And such drugs can have to be carefully given, because suddenly if you increase the dose or and they will start following the from the first order kinetics, they will start following the zero order kinetics of elimination, and they can reach the toxic levels. So examples of drugs which are following mixed order kinetics of elimination are phenytoin, warfarin, tolbutamide, and theophylline. We just have one more small topic, that is the loading dose and maintenance dose. So in some drugs, they do not reach the steady state concentration very fast. So we may have to give us very large single or a few quickly repeated doses in the beginning to attain the target concentration rapidly. This is happening only in certain drugs. So in such drugs, we have to in the first dose should be very large dose, or you have to give very smaller doses repeatedly to attain the target concentration rapidly. This is called as the loading dose, and is a product of target steady state concentration into volume of distribution divided by bioavailability. The drugs for which loading dose have to be given is digoxin, chloroquine, doxycycline. Then comes the maintenance dose. This dose is one that is to be repeated at specified intervals after the attainment of the target steady state concentration, so as to maintain the same by balancing elimination. So with the help of loading dose, you have attained the target concentration. Now you have to maintain the same concentration of the drug. So the dose which is required to maintain that is called as the maintenance dose. It is equal to target steady state concentration into clearance by bioavailability. This is the formula for loading dose and maintenance dose. So the summary, majority of the drugs are excreted by the kidney. In the urine, we discussed that the net renal excretion is glomerular filtration plus tubular secretion minus tubular reabsorption, of which we mentioned about the importance of the pH considerations and its importance in the management of drug poisonings. Then we discussed about clearance. It is an important pharmacokinetic parameter, which is a quantitative measure of the elimination of a drug. Then we mentioned the importance of T-half, how it is important in calculating the duration of the drug action, the dosing interval, as well as the steady state, the time taken for it to reach the steady state concentration. Then we also discussed about what steady state concentration is. It is the state at which the rate of administration becomes equal to the rate of elimination of the drug. Then we discussed about the three orders of elimination kinetics, principally the first order, zero order, and the mixed order, of which the first order one is followed by majority of the drugs. Zero order is followed by alcohol, and mixed order is followed by drugs like phenytoin and tolbutamide. Finally, we discussed about the loading dose and maintenance dose. So with that, we come to the end of the session. So you can ask doubts if required. Thank you.